What's up, everybody? My name is Dell. This is Dell on Movies. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you've been here before, thanks for hanging out with me again. And extra special thanks for anybody who's still here after some technical difficulties and a late start. I really appreciate it, guys. And I'm not going to waste too much time. I'm just going to go ahead and bring in our guest. And this person is someone that I came across on Instagram maybe a year, maybe even 2 years ago. She and I just started following each other. And every now and again, I throw some support out there for her channel. She does the same for me, for her page on Instagram, and she does the same for me. And then one day it dawned on me, why not just have her up here to talk about talk about movies, because she has great opinions on movies, which she posts on Instagram all the time. And she's known there as byjessjohnson. And here she is. How you doing, Jess?
Hi, everybody. I'm doing great. Thanks, Dale.
Good, good. I'm so happy that you could join me tonight. Apologies to you for making you wait so long with all my difficulties tonight.
Nope, that's fine. No problem.
All right, cool. We do have a few people out there, so I'm glad to see. Now, a lot of my friends out here are. I know some of them might follow you on Instagram, but a lot of them may not be familiar with you because you're not a blue tuber.
Yes.
So just to kind of give everybody a general idea about you, what's your favorite genre movies? Let's just start there.
Ooh, this is a tough one because my favorite genre actually has a lot of other genres as its subgenre, and that's indie films.
Yeah, that
So
is pretty broad.
that's a very
Any particular kind of indie films?
eh, I kind of bounce back and forth between drama and comedy. I just like seeing films that kind of have to work around a smaller budget.
Okay,
Usually they have better stories and actors to make those work.
I agree. I understand what you're saying. They have to be more creative in their storytelling, and yet they have to, the actors and the directing in general has to sell the story. Am I kind of
Yeah.
getting it right?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Now, are there any favorites that you just want to just recommend for people out there who kind of get an idea of the kind of things you like?
Oh goodness. Let's see. I guess I can. The Grand Budapest Hotel. I love that one. Um. I'm trying to think in the indie genre which ones I want to throw out there. I like. What was it? I don't feel at home in the world anymore. Well, it's a long name. I forgot. It's on Netflix.
Yeah,
Came out in like 2017.
I know what you're talking about because I think I've seen it,
I like
and
that one.
I
um,
I think that's is that the if it's the same movie I'm thinking about, it's a revenge flick.
yes, it has Melanie Linsky
Yes,
and
I've seen it. Yes, it is a very good movie.
Elijah Wood. Yeah. So I
Like,
like that one. Ooh, I don't know. That's like a deep trove to go into.
okay, yeah, it is, and I kind of put you on the spot. I'm sorry,
No, that's all right.
but that one is a very good movie, and I can't think of the name offhand. If I think of it before the end of the stream, I'll put it out there. Or if you come up with it, just blurt it
Okay.
out if you have to. But you're pretty close. I'm pretty sure it's something like that. All right. Next thing on the agenda, and I talked to you just briefly, very briefly about this backstage, but on your profile page, it does say that you are dealing with MS. Is there anything that you want people to either to know, or is there any way for them to contribute, or just anything you want to say about it in general?
Oh well, I guess mostly to help, I would just visit your local MS societies. They usually have something going on all year that you can donate money or time to. And then if I had to let people know something, it's just that MS isn't the same for everybody. It looks different on everyone. So don't just assume because you know a person with MS and it looks one way, it's going to look that way for someone else. So uh, just don't be so quick to assume things about people who have MS.
Right, right. And that's really pretty much for really any condition out there.
Yes.
There's not always going to be the exact same thing for everybody, so we shouldn't just jump to conclusions. And I know a lot of times we just do that as people.
Yeah.
All right, let's see who's out here in the chat with this. Look like we made it up to double digits right now. I appreciate that. Adrian James is here. He says, "Hey, Dell and guest." And
Hi.
there you go. Spicy 4K action. Hey, everyone. What's Johnny watching? Johnny says, "What's up, cool kids?" Yes, Johnny, the coolest of the cool. Super Mario is here. I haven't seen the movie yet. Have you seen Super Mario yet?
No, I have not, but I do plan on watching it soon.
So do I.
Mm.
Super Mario says, "Sounds good." He's talking about my technical difficulties because I
Oh,
did
okay.
put the thing out there. James says, "Hello, Dell and Jess."
Hello,
Uh,
hello.
James, if I'm not sure if you're familiar with James,
Yeah, I follow him on
you do
Instagram.
follow him. So
Yeah.
you are well aware he is the Criterion King.
Yes.
Hall and Oates, good evening.
Oh, that's a good name.
Yes, that is a great name. Do you remember the band? Are you old enough to
Yeah,
remember?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
Any good Hall and Oates songs you remember? Hall and Oates your songs you remember?
You just get your original classics from them. I'm not too deep into them. I can't pull out a deep cut from them, but
No, not
if you throw them on, I'm listening.
got you. I got you. I got you. We got some people just saying hi back and forth to one another. And let's see what else. If who I'm just looking for to see if anyone else has popped in here.
Okay.
Uh Here's one as Miko says, "Hey everyone, a double feature
Oh, hey,
podcast."
hey, hey.
And there's Laren says, "Hey Dell and Jessica, how are you both?" I'm doing well. Jessica, are you doing
And
well?
I'm also doing well.
Very good, very good. This is the king of the convo. If I can get the thing click here. KB loves movies. What's up, brother Dell and party people? Good evening, Jess.
Good evening to you too.
And let's see. Well, we got somebody calling him the living legend, Laren Legend, and KB. I take that back. And Ivan is here again. Ivan joined us last night. Says, "I don't feel at home in this world anymore. Thank you." That is the name of the
Okay.
movie. Great
Okay.
movie.
Yeah.
See, the chat provides. The chat always comes through for us. It is a great movie, though. I really did enjoy that movie. Uh, Lauren's still saying some hellos to one another back and forth. And I think we're all caught up with everybody that is here. And again, sub to each other out there in the chat. There's a lot of great content creators. I say that every week and every time we have movie swap. I really do mean it. And definitely, if you are on Instagram, go on Instagram and follow Jess on Instagram because she posts some great movie stuff
Yeah,
there.
I'm
All
seeing a
right.
lot of people here that I'm not familiar with, so I'm gonna have to go check them out too. See if I can find
Yes,
them out there.
absolutely. Absolutely. We got a lot of great content creators out there. All right. So since we're late, I'm not going to waste any more time. No more dilly dallying, as they say.
Okay.
And I'm going to turn it over to you a little bit and let the people know what movie you suggested for me to watch.
All right. The movie I selected for Dell is let me get it here. It is The Good, the Bad, the Weird.
I also have a copy.
Okay.
And
So you have a copy. See, I didn't know if you were gonna have to hunt that one down.
it so happens that about 3-4 months ago, I just found it in a pawn shop randomly, and I
Okay.
haven't watched it yet. So
Okay.
I had heard of it. So
All right.
well, okay, let's pick it up. And then you came in with the suggestion to give me an excuse to pop it in. All right. So if you could, what's the movie about?
All right. Well, it's a 2008 South Korean film, and it takes place in 1939 in Manchuria. Just a couple of months, I believe, it's supposed to be set before World War II.
Mhm.
And where we start with the character. Let me set up the three main characters here. We
Yes,
start with now. I got to look at names here so I can remember names.
go for it.
All right. So we start with Chang Yi, who is the bad. He has been hired to go and say steal this map from a Japanese official on a train.
Am I getting
And
it
when he
right?
goes, all right, and when he goes to steal this map. It just so happens that Taegu, who is the weird, is already robbing the train.
I take that back. So I had it wrong. This
Uh,
is that was the first guy.
okay, yeah,
That's the
there you
weird
go.
guy. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Okay, so yeah, Tegu the Weird has already gotten the map that where did I go? Changyi the Bad is out to get. So he's already had the map stolen from him. And we have the good who is Duwan, who comes in after the bad to bring him in on a bounty. So what
Right.
ensues from there is now they're kind of chasing each other, trying to get this map that Tegu the Weird has. And
Uh,
what happens? You end up getting some Manchurian bandits thrown in there also, and then
mhm.
you have the Japanese officials, the government, the army, whatever, coming after them, also to just retrieve the map that was belongs to him to begin with. So after all this time of going kind of back and forth, eventually Tegu the Weird is just simply trying to figure out what this map he has is and what it leads to.
Right.
So you get some crossed paths, some little team ups here and there, and then eventually Tegu sets off with the map to go retrieve what he believes is kind of some treasure buried by the King Dynasty before it fell. So he goes on this epic chase through the desert with everybody in tow following him, and it turns into a really truly great action scene. If you haven't seen it, you're gonna want to see that at least. A really great action scene, a chase scene through the desert, and it boils down to our three main characters: the good, the bad, the weird, and then
Yeah.
we get to see who gets it and what exactly this treasure is.
Thank you. All right. So at the very beginning, like you said, we get the guy that's already robbing the train, and another guy who's hired, and then the other guy comes in, follows that
Yes.
guy. So I'm gonna let you in a little bit behind my curtain. I actually watched the movie twice.
Okay.
The very first time I watched it, I was doing something else. I had some other things I was doing, trying to work and
Uh-huh.
watching at the same time. So I got about halfway through the movie, and I'm like, I have no clue what's happening in this, in
Yeah,
this movie.
it's easy to get lost in it.
Yeah, it's easy to get lost in it. So I went back and I watched it. I finished it out,
Hmm.
and because I mean, just the scenes, the set pieces were really, really fun.
Yeah.
And then at the end, and then a day or two later, I went back and I rewatched it again to get more on board with the story. So okay, so now it made everything made a lot more sense the second time, and so that's a me thing, not the movie thing. So I'm not going to
No,
dominate.
no. So I
Right.
figured it. It's one you have to really be on top of to keep up with everything.
Yeah, and I was on Sunday. I was on a another stream with movies with Ryan, and it was actually Asian cinema scene. And I
Okay.
brought the movie up because we were just kind of throwing things out there, making recommendations. And of course, the title is "The Good, the Bad, the Weird." And one of the comments was, "Well, it's got the weird covered." And and I said, "Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It definitely does that." But when you get into it though, the characters are better than I think I expected after the setup.
Yeah.
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 Um
They do get better along the way. Again, you got to be on top of everything to catch everything.
right. Right. Now of the three, did you have one? I know who we're supposed to root for, but did you have one that was your favorite?
Well, I do enjoy the weird, but I did like the good also because I think he just kind of had that cool good guy, Western cowboy, good guy
Yeah.
vibe down pat. So I
Yes.
really liked his performance.
Yes. He absolutely did. And I apologize. I'm having something happening with my laptop here. Give me 1 second, guys.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about this. Issue. It came out. That's the issue.
If I had any kind of musical talent, I would sing with you guys or something, sing for you guys to keep things going. But
No,
I,
I'm back already.
all
It's
right.
okay. And it's been a rough couple days for me technologically wise, and I apologize again to everybody out there, to you also. But I am back. So just so just give everybody kind of an idea of what's happening. So when I went to go into the studio as you do on StreamYard, my laptop decided to crash,
No.
and I was bringing it up, is telling me, well, we can't figure it out what's happening, so restart. So I restart, and then it just would take forever and ever and ever. So I had to switch over to my work laptop
Oh, okay.
eventually, and that's where we are. And then just now, the charger fell
No.
out or got pulled out of the. It's a mess. Anyway, so
It's all right.
yeah, we're here. We're
Yeah,
here.
we
We
can keep it
do it.
moving. We got it. We got it.
Yeah, we got it. All right. So for me, the weird was funny. He
Yeah.
was just, he was absolutely funny, and I liked the good to an extent, but I
Mhm.
think he was kind of uh, the most straightforward character.
Yeah.
I didn't vibe with him as much.
Okay.
I really like the bad, 'cause and it probably helps that I've seen him in a few movies,
Well,
but
see, yeah, I did. The bad was the one I kind of didn't really
yeah, I
didn't
mean it's
really work for me.
it's understandable, and maybe because at times I like a little sadism in my movie characters sometimes, and
Yeah,
he
it's
has
just I
that.
think it was just there was a little over the top. I give leeway for it because he's I think that works with the kind of traditional Western they're messing with.
Yes,
And so the bad kind of has to be super bad, like this is the bad guy. There's no
yeah,
question about it. So, but there was time it it started to dance a little up to the mustache twirly kind of place for
right.
me.
Yeah, I will agree with that. I will agree with that. Now I'm glad you brought up that's messing with westerns. So would you call it a full on spoof?
I don't think it's a full on spoof because I
Okay,
do think there's a bit of homage to it. It's not just kind of like haha aren't westerns funny.
okay,
There is there is a you can tell that the director kind of has some love for those films, the way it's shot and those chases, all the stuff on horseback, all the fights. You can tell there's some love for western there. It's not just a he aren't these movies goofy.
right, right. And I agree with that. And I for me a good spoof anyway, starts with love for whatever it's making fun of.
True, true.
So when I hear the term spoof, for me, it's not automatically like we're just gonna say how stupid and funny it is. Um, but I'm glad you mentioned the way it's shot, because there were a couple. There were it was good cinematography all the way through it,
Yeah,
but there were a couple of amazing shots, especially early on. We get the shot of Weird. He kind of looks as I think it was bad. Comes into the train, and the camera kind of, well, let me do it this way. The camera kind of is coming back
yeah,
to get to his face, and then he sees who it is, and then the camera kind of
yeah.
juts forward and moves forward. I thought that was a really cool
That
shot.
was a cool shot. That was a cool shot.
Yeah.
But I think, like I said, that those chases, particularly that one right at the end of the film
Hmm.
with that all out everybody
Yeah.
chase,
Yes.
that's pretty epic.
It was, and there were a lot of action pieces just along the way that were really well done. It was, we get a few chase scenes, and we have that last one, of course, is just it was really hectic and crazy,
Yeah.
and I really did enjoy that aspect of it. Let me see if anybody out here in the chat either is showing
Has
up
anybody seen it?
or has anybody seen it. I know one person has seen it if they're still here, but we'll find out. Mika's never heard of this one, and that's understandable. It's not one of the most popular ones. Trini says, "What's up, people? Nice pick." So I'm guessing Trini has seen it. Let me know if that's the case, Trini, or maybe there's another comment further down. Holland says, "I got this on my list to watch." I'm giving Holland a pretty long list. Every week, Holland is adding things to the list. And we got some more hellos there. And just kind of skimming back here. James says we'll need to add this one to my watch list. Another one.
Well, listen, if you need to watch it for free, you can find it, I think, on Tubi, and then I think you might be able to find it on YouTube, but you didn't hear that from me because I don't know how
Okay.
legit that is.
Right. I wasn't sure if it was on any. I had the disc, so I didn't check this time. All right, and KB says, so now I know what you were talking about on Sunday night. Okay, yeah, because I let them in on the fact that Asian cinema will be playing a role in this week's movie swaps, both you
Okay.
and last night, with Dimension. And Trini, yes, sir, I've seen it a few times. Okay,
Good.
so I'm guessing he likes it then if he's seen it a few times. All right, so after we get through the well, not anything in particular, but another thing that struck me, and this may be because I've seen it recently, is I also got a Bullet Train feel from the movie.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
Okay.
No, what I got like I said, mainly through the chases through the desert, I immediately went to this second time around. I went to, oh, you know what? It kind of reminded me of Mad Max Fury Road.
Yes.
It's the race through the desert,
mm-hmm.
except everybody's on horseback or motorcycles. So I like that, and I like that there was zero CGI in this film.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's practical.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you see stuff going off, bombs and stuff like that, horses falling down, riding everywhere, it's all practical.
Yeah. And when I'm talking about Bullet Train, I'm really more talking about the setup of the movie. It's like,
yeah. That's where I can see it.
So yeah. And that one, that's what stuck with me most of the way through the movie. But yeah, I definitely can see Mad Max Fury Road or Mad Max Road Warrior, because this came out before Fury Road.
Well, yeah.
In Mad Max Road Warrior, also just heavy influence there. And yeah, like you said, all practical, no CGI. Dangerous stuff, but they got it done.
It's very dangerous stuff.
Yeah, really dangerous stuff. So what did you think about, if we can do it without spoiling it?
Okay.
What did you think about the way that it wrapped up?
I was okay with it for the most part. Okay, we got to dance around this a little bit so you don't reveal too much, but you know, I was fine with who it came down to at the end.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I do think there's room where you maybe could have done more with that, but it's enough for me to be cool with it.
Yes.
I don't have any big gripes with it.
Right. And I'm in the same boat with you. I don't have any big gripes with it. And you mentioned who it came down to. I will say this without giving away too much. We eventually get a standoff between our three friends in the movie. That is, if anybody out there has seen The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, it is, I mean, shot for shot for a few minutes, I would say.
Yes, it is.
Including the close-ups on the eyes. And it was one of those things where I wasn't quite ready for them to do exactly that. Yeah. So when it happened, I was like, "Oh, look, they're doing that." So, I had a blast with that.
Yeah, I think they had to tip the hat and give the nod to what they were kind of playing with.
Right. And I guess I was an easy mark for that. So forgive me. All right, we do have someone new who popped in. The Monkey is here. The spoof movie Vampire Sucks did not respect the Twilight film. They completely made fun of it. The one spoof film that didn't show love for the soft material. That is one movie that didn't show love for the soft material. I did not see Vampire Sucks. Have you seen that one?
I have not seen it, and I'm going to be honest, I have not watched any of the Twilight films.
For me personally, you're not missing anything.
Okay, well, see, that's what I keep getting from people, so I've never bothered.
I am not a Twilight fan at all. I don't like. For me, the first one is the best one, and it's mediocre at best.
Okay.
And we kind of.
I mean, who knows? One day I might, be brave enough to check it out and judge for myself.
Yeah, I always encourage that, because you might love them. You never know.
We'll see. We'll see.
You never know. And spoof movies in general, I think I already said that it starts with the love of the genre that it's making fun of. or the whatever the source material is. But I think it also has to work as a its own narrative has to work and
Yes.
not just be scenes ripped from some
From
other place.
yes.
So in this movie, uh, even though it does rip that one scene from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, it is not, just constantly taking scenes from other movies and say, hey, look at this, ain't this funny, look at this is funny, look at that. It's not doing it, which is why I don't really like the scary movie franchise either.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
I feel like that's all they do is like, hey,
Yeah.
remember this scene, well, let's add something dumb or gross to it and you'll laugh.
Well, see, that's why I kind of don't really consider this one a spoof because it doesn't really borrow that much for any from any particular films other than, of course, the obvious one, and
Right.
it's just that one little bit, like you said, at the end that you really see it.
Yes, yes, and that is where you really see it. So, and that's what I really did like about the movie is, like you said, it wasn't just trying to poke fun of it. It was paying homage, and it did its own thing narratively, which is
Yes.
again for me the strongest part is it did its own thing narratively. And for me, I'm a person who considers Scream a spoof, for instance, and for
It is.
Scream, it has its own narrative going, even though throughout the movie it's making fun of horror movies, but it's doing so again with respect for them and with its own narrative. It's not just trying to rip some other story and just say and make fun of it. So in that regard, The Good, the Bad, the Weird does a lot of good things. I did appreciate about that. I'm going to move back to the chat for just a second because I do see
Okay.
at least one comment on it, and I've got the monkey still up on the screen because I forgot to mention this. I do. I have been seeing, if you're still here, monkey, I have been seeing that he's been doing a lot of live streams lately, and he's not announcing them. He just kind of goes live whenever he has the feeling. Usually it's him and a guest, and the streams are not long. Most of them are 20 minutes or less. And he's
Okay.
talked about some interesting subjects. So go ahead and one sub up to the monkey if you're not, and just check out his channel. And I think you might be pleasantly surprised with some of the things that he's talking about, and he's doing a lot of rankings about. He did superhero movies. He did what was the other one he did? He did a couple of them. Monkey, you can let me know in the chat if you would like. Um, but yeah, he's been doing it a lot lately, and like a lot of us, like myself and some of the other people in the chat, is one stream. It's going to be a long one, and you advertise, you push it, you promote it. In his case, he's not really doing that. He's like, you know what? I feel like going live. I'm going live right now, and I think he deserves more views than he's getting. So yeah, please just check out the monkey's channel.
All right.
Um,
I'll be looking out too, checking it out.
no problem. And we have James again. He says, I agree. The first Twilight was more than enough for me too.
Like I said, it's what I keep hearing, so I haven't necessarily felt all that inclined to check it out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not for me. And unfortunately for me, not I shouldn't say unfortunately for me, because it's very fortunate that I have daughters, but it was unfortunate that they were at that age. They were in
Age
the
too.
target audience when those movies came out. So I watched each and every one of those movies.
Like I said, maybe one day we'll see. I might come around and just go ahead and hunker down and watch them.
All right. Yeah. Let me know if you do. I'm curious to hear what your thoughts
Oh,
are.
I'll let people know. I'll let people know when I give it and watch.
Yeah, you absolutely will. Caveman is here. What's going on, Caveman? And I did not forget or did not. I'm not ignoring you, Caveman. He sent me a DM. We've been going back and forth in the DMs for a while. And the last thing he sent me was, "Hey, check out the video that I made. I haven't had a chance to do it yet today. So after this stream, that is at the top of my list to check out." And we got more people saying, hey, and we got another new person here, Floyd House Flicks. And he's saying, peace, Del, just checking in. Hello to Jess.
Hello,
All
hello.
right. Thank you. That's Big Chris. And I'll definitely be doing this sit with you. So, all right, cool. So just let me know whenever you're ready, man. The spot is warm. We'll keep the seat warm for you till you're ready. And we'll definitely get you in here. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and close this portion out. But
Wait, wait. Okay,
oh,
I
go
do
ahead.
have. Okay, I have a quick question for you though. Did
Absolutely.
you watch dubbed or subtitled?
Subbed.
Okay, okay, just
Is
checking.
that the right answer?
Yeah, I'm not. I wasn't gonna judge, but yeah, I prefer sub.
I do as well. And it's funny because last night's guest, mentioned Scott, he watched Battle Royale. I don't know if you're familiar with that movie.
Yes, I am. I've watched it.
And he let me know that he watched the dubbed version. So I was
Okay.
like, yeah, okay, I won't hold it against you too bad.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I wasn't gonna hold it against you if you said dub, but
No,
yeah, I do prefer sub.
yes. Now okay. So sometimes it's difficult for me to articulate why. Since you brought it up, we're gonna just go there for a minute.
Okay.
Sometimes it's difficult for me to articulate why to people, not movie fans like us all here, but
Mhm.
for people that I know in real life. Like, why are you watching it in this other language? You don't speak that language. Like, I don't want to read a movie. So what do
Yeah.
you say to that?
Usually, what I say to that is a lot of times, a lot gets lost when they do the dubbed version. They usually trim down a lot just to make things move quicker and move with the mouths and things. So a lot of stuff kind of just gets summed up very quickly. And the same can be said for subtitle. They gotta, chop it so you have enough time to read everything.
Right.
But I find personally, I don't know, it for me, it just takes something away to not hear the actual actor's voice inflection.
Mm-hmm.
That actor's voice inflection, and rather than some voice over actor coming in.
Right.
So I prefer the subtitled for that reason, because I want to hear how the actual actor speaks in their voice inflections with what they're doing and everything, because that's part of acting too.
Yes. Absolutely. And I highlighted this because again, Big Chris is my guy, but I still had to highlight him, put him on blast. He got dub all day.
I get it. I get why some people do it, and it is if you're trying to do something else and watch, it's easy for that.
Mhm.
But yeah, when I have the time, and most of the time I try to reserve the time to just watch it subtitled.
Right. And in his defense though, he and I grew up around the same time. We grew up in the same city. We grew up in New York. So and I know he watched a whole lot of martial arts films that came on TV.
Oh yeah,
A whole lot of kung fu theater, and all of those were dubbed.
dubbed. Yeah, they were all dubbed back then.
So
Yeah, I got it.
we grew up on that. I get it. No problem. Tiana is here. Hey, Tiana.
Hello, hello.
And a few people saying hello to her. All right, so let me go ahead and give my thoughts on the movie as a whole. And what you said was, to start off, was really true. Is not just trying to make fun of westerns. There's a lot of love there to it. Um, and then also bringing in what I said, it is, but it's doing its own thing. Those two things came together, and the action pieces. Again, you already mentioned this, but the action pieces were really good, especially that last piece. So I had a blast watching it. I really did. I really
Okay,
enjoyed this movie.
good,
So
good.
yeah, thank you for suggesting this movie. I really did have a good time with it. Anybody out there? I know it doesn't seem like anybody, or we had one person for sure who's seen it. Two people, I believe, that's seen the movie. So for everybody else, I would say, hey, go ahead and give it a shot. We didn't really talk much about comedy, even though it's kind of kind of
Yeah,
a spoof or parody or however you want to call it. There are some laughs there. There's some.
there is. Most of the comedy comes from, of course, Tegu the Weird.
Yes.
But yeah, that's it. There's definitely some comedy infused in there too.
Absolutely. And so yeah, go ahead and check it out, guys. I really had a good time watching it. And yeah, let me know what you think. Uh, Hit me up on Instagram, or just come back and comment on this stream, or if on the replay, or hit Jess on IG and tell her what you thought of it. I really had a good time watching this movie. Thank you
Well, I'm
again.
glad you liked it. I'm glad you liked it, because I was a little worried when you picked it. I was like, oh, how's this gonna go?
Yeah, this is episode number 21 of this. So the stream is legal now, guys. The stream is absolutely legal now. It's 21. But I still get that feelings when I suggest a movie to somebody, and are they really gonna like it? I'm not so sure. And some people have heard me say, a lot of you have heard me say, I used to work at Blockbuster back in the day, and I got that feeling then because customers would ask
Yeah.
for recommendations, and yeah, and you still get that feeling. That's part of the why I do this, because I kind of like that feeling and kind of finding out if I'm right or if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And they're not all going to be winners. So, but this one I feel, at least from your perspective, was a winner. We'll get to mine in a minute. Let's just see if we had anything else going on in the chat. It says it's tricky to get inflection in foreign language. Absolutely. But I can dig it. That's one of the things that have always bothered me about Bruce Lee movies. When they subbed them, when they dubbed them back in the day, they never used Bruce Lee to do it, even though he spoke English.
Yeah, that was questionable.
Yeah, very questionable. All right, and Jessica, I just gave you Instagram a follow.
All right. Well, like I said, I'll be checking out, trying to find some of you in here, most of you in here, and see if I can go and follow you somewhere.
You can always cut back on the replay, and you should be able to access the live chat, so you can find their names, so you don't have to memorize them all.
Then that's what I'll be doing.
Yep. Okay, man. Dub versions for me, dyslexia.
Understandable.
And word choices. This is true. And I'm by no means saying you have to watch a movie one way or the other. Just do it.
Me neither. Like I said, I wasn't gonna, get on you if you said dubbed. I wasn't.
All right. I believe it looks like we're all caught up. And all right. So now I'm going to get to the movie that I recommended for you. And I'm terrible with names. And as I was explaining to people last night, I just started wearing contacts again for the first time in years. However, I'm also old, which means I can see everything on that side of the room and nothing
up close.
So forgive me, because I'm going to pull an old person move and pull out my reading glasses here.
That's okay. Mine are sitting right to the side in case.
There you go. The name of the movie, though, is Sleight. And I know a lot of people want to say slate, but it's sleight, as in a magician's sleight of hand. And this is actually a superhero movie. It's an origin story. And a lot of people, they get it going. They either understand it going in and sometimes don't feel it's that way until the movie's really far along, or they don't know it going in and then they're kind of surprised. And in the movie, we meet our main character, and his name is Bo. Very simple. I should actually remember that. That's terrible. But anyway, Bo is he's a young guy, early 20s. I would say. They never really specify early 20s. He's his mom has passed away. He's taking care of his kid's sister. His kid's sister is played by Storm Reed, who was in this year in Missing. Really good movie if you haven't seen that one. And he's struggling to make ends meet. He does so in two ways. He works for a big-time drug dealer named Angelo, so he deals drugs part of the day, and then another part of the day he's in the streets just doing street magic, just doing tricks for people wherever they walk up to him, or he holds court and people throw money at him after his tricks. However, we know right away that his tricks are really authentic in a lot of ways. Not every trick, but a lot of the tricks that he does. And it's because of an adjustment, not an adjustment, something he did to his arm. Let's leave it at that. He did something to his arm, and he's like a really low-level Magneto. He can control.
You could throw in a little Iron Man-ish if you want to.
Yes, Iron Man in the way he got this ability, and then Magneto in the way what the ability is. And after a little while, Angelo, there's some people that move into Angelo's territory that are selling, and Angelo goes after them, and he brings Bo along. and makes Bo do something. I'll not reveal quite what it is, but he definitely didn't want to do it. And at that moment, Bo figures out that he's got to get out of the drug game. And the way he does it is actually cheating Angelo, who quickly finds out about it. So then from there on, he and his sister are on the run. And I'll leave the story part there. All right. So the first question for you is, I didn't mention this in when I made this recommendation. Did you know anything about the movie at all?
I was actually happy to see that you recommended because it was one that I had intended to watch when when it first dropped. I started hearing from people, whenever it would come up, they'd be like, "Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one." And so I kind of took note and kept that in the back of my head. But for whatever reason, it sat on the back burner, and I just never got around to it. So when you brought it up, I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna be fine watching this. I really want to see this one." And I didn't actually know much about it outside of magic.
Got you.
And that was
got
it.
Got you.
But
Okay.
yeah, so this was kind of, I was kind of like, oh, when I watched
Got
it, because I wasn't prepared for all of it.
Got you. And I'm sorry, I had to highlight this one. Dell lost his glasses in the dice game. Not this time. Not this time. Emmett asked him, "Where's your glasses?" And Emmett, like I said, I actually have contacts in, but I have old man vision, which means I can see far with the contacts. I really need bifocals in my contacts. I just didn't get them. I just have the distance. I can see far away. Up close, I need something else to help me out. So, just it is what it is, guys.
Yeah.
And I'm and I like to try to be cute without my glasses sometimes. So,
That's
all
why,
right.
like I said, that's why mine are sitting off to the side here right now.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So, so when the movie starts and obviously you see him doing the magic tricks and you see what's going on with the sister or with him and his sister. How were you feeling about, how are you feeling about where the story might go?
Well, it was clear that that his magic wasn't purely natural.
Right.
And so that first part is what kind of made me go, oh, okay, this is I don't know quite what this is at the beginning, but I was kind of like, there's something definitely fishy here.
Yeah, definitely something.
So yeah, so it was kind of just for a while, just me kind of going, what is it? What is it? What is it? And waiting to get there. So it was, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little frustrated for a while at kind of being like, what is this?
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. All right. So now, I know you've seen these kinds of movies before, not this specific movie, but I mean, what I mean is movies about kids who make or young people who make questionable decisions because they have to get out of a situation or the situation that they're in is not desirable.
Yeah.
So with him, one thing for me that stuck out is I never got the sense that he was a bad kid at all, and they set it up pretty purposely that way.
Yeah.
But even after he does what he, well, let me pose it to you this way: after he does what Angelo makes him do, how do you feel about him then?
Well, I knew he was going to react the way he reacted because, like you said, it's clear that he's not a bad kid. He's just working within the circumstances he's in, and so I knew it was gonna be a wake up call of, okay, I got to get out of this.
Right. Now, the way he got out, like I said,
that's what I was like. Yeah, you're playing with fire there, buddy. That was like, I was like, oh well, yeah, you're definitely gonna get in trouble with this one.
Yeah. What do you think of his performance? Jacob Latimer is the actor.
It was pretty good. I wasn't blown away by it or anything, but it was pretty good. It held up.
Okay. Now, the one performance I'm really more interested in is Angelo's, because on the second watch through, he's obviously he's the villain. That's not
Yeah.
in question. But on the second watch, early on, I had trouble buying him.
Okay, I'm glad you said it first.
Okay, go ahead.
Because that was a problem for me with this film, was not fully buying into Dule Hill's performance as Angelo.
Hmm.
And who knows, maybe it's I saw too many of those psych commercials. I never watched the show, but maybe I saw too many of those that made me think he's kind of like the goofy PI guy, and
Yeah.
so I didn't really fully buy that role for him.
Okay. Okay. Good. So
You know,
we're
like you said, it was just there were some moments where I was like, yeah,
yeah. It took me a while, and I think that it's a testament to the writing that eventually I started to buy in a little more,
yeah,
but it wasn't fully because of him. It was the circumstances uh and the stakes of the movie.
yeah,
Okay. All right. So we're on the same page. We're on the same, at least
yeah.
on
So far, we're good.
so far and we eventually we get a love interest eventually. And now she's one, in some ways I wasn't sure that she was needed in the story.
Okay, yeah, that's
And
where I kind of had a problem with that character. It's I kind of felt like if you took her out, you kind of still have the same story for the
right,
most
you had the
part.
same, especially because of the neighbor across the street.
Yeah,
She can do almost the exact same
that
things.
same way. Yeah.
So
So so that was my problem with that because it kind of felt like just a kind of checklist character. Like,
mhm.
oh, love interest, check.
Right, right. And I thought that they she could have been enhanced
Yeah,
if, 'cause they give her a set of problems.
that's the problem, was that you just couldn't fully invest in her. And I do think they could have played with her and their relationship a little more for you to get invested, for her to matter more in the story. Because it's not like I didn't have a problem with the actress at all, and then the role itself isn't necessarily a bad one or anything. It just they just didn't do enough with it to really warrant it.
Right, right. So far we're right there.
Yep.
We're seeing eye to eye
They
right
were
now.
still good. There's
It's
still
real
room
good.
though for bumps. We'll see.
All right. My next area was with the okay, with the I'm trying to jump and dance around some things.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Um, so we get where we get the big stakes at the end of the movie, where he has a real problem to solve on top of the already other problems that he has. And here's where it kind of turns into a superhero movie.
Yeah.
And how were you at that point?
I was fine with it, once that switch over happens, I was fine with it. I just had a problem with I felt like it took forever to get there.
Took forever to get there. Okay,
I wish
okay.
I just wish we got there a little quicker. But it's not like a big problem for me. But yeah, I wish we got there a little quicker. Like I said, I was getting a little frustrated at points. Like, can we just I can see we're going somewhere here, but can we just get there?
Yeah, can we get there? So we finally do. I mean, after we get there, and I'm guys in the chat. I know is I'm supposed to recommend a movie I really like, and I do like the movie. But
Mhm.
I, as on a rewatch, I
Yeah,
spot more flaws. And
yeah.
one of the things was, now after we get this, we get him coming into his power, so to speak. And were things? Did he have a sufficient struggle for you, or were things a little too easy for him?
I mean, at least on paper, the setup he had enough of a struggle. But there probably would in real life if this went down, there'd probably be more. But it it was all right. Again, it's a smaller film,
Hmm.
just budget wise and things. So I think I kind of give it some leeway to not be maybe as big as some other films.
Right, right. And I'm glad that when you said if this was real life, and I think that's both to its benefit and its detriment, because it places itself in a very real world environment.
Yes.
and I think less time spent on the love interest or none at all, and more
Yeah,
time spent on him becoming what he becomes
exactly.
would have benefited the movie for me.
Yeah.
Would have made it better for me. Um, how about how about what they could do with the action as it was, even though there wasn't a ton of it.
Yeah, there wasn't a ton of it, but again, I think it's that that smaller budget kind of feel. You might not have the kind of money to put in any kind of big scale
Hmm.
fight scenes, to get in choreographers for that kind of stuff. You might not
Right.
have that. So again, I'm fine with giving it kind of a pass on that. It
Okay.
doesn't have to be very big, big action sequences or fights.
Okay.
But I did, when he came in that moment, and like I said, when the movie switches to that, I was cool with it.
Okay. Okay. Good. I'm gonna check in with the chat, see if anybody has either checked in or has seen it. And Big Chris, thanks for the explanation, talking about the glasses. And Emmett is known for coming in and giving streamers very interesting questions. And this one says, "Would you prefer stage plays more than movies?" Me personally, no. I don't hate stage plays. They're fine. I like them. I've seen enough of them in my life, but I don't prefer them to movies. For me, the a stage is a lot more static than a movie. I mean, you can't do but so much with the
Yeah,
stage.
yeah,
Whereas with a movie, you can be more dynamic. You can go places. You can do things, and you can give the audience different looks. Whereas with a play, you're stuck with the point of view of the seat you're sitting in. Whereas in a
yes,
movie, I can yes, you can stare deeply into a character's eyes, or you could be way up over their head, or you could be down on the ground looking up at them, or the camera could move through spaces like you're moving with them, and that's something that I really enjoy. Um, do you have any opinion on stage plays versus
I,
movies?
I also I also have seen plenty of stage plays. I hung out with the drama kids in college, so being a good friend, I saw a lot of those too. So I saw a lot of plays. I've seen several actually plays throughout my life, and I don't have any problem with them. I enjoy them for what they are, but in a preference, I'm gonna lean more towards movies.
Okay, okay,
Mostly for the reasons you've already stated.
okay. Any other
Yeah,
reasons at all, or that?
no, no, like I said, mostly for the reasons you stated. I like stage plays for what they are. I can go in and enjoy it for that moment, but um, like you said, you only get that one point of view kind of thing. There's only uh, there's only so much you can do on a stage. And so with movies, I like being able to venture out a little further. Now, that's not to say that there aren't movies that also kind of play like plays. There's plenty of those.
Yes, there are
And I'm
plenty of
fine, and
them.
I'm fine with those too. But
Hmm.
again, even then, you get more ability to switch angles on how you're filming a scene and showing a scene. With
Right,
the stage, you just have that one spot, and that's it.
right. You kind of locked in.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do with that.
Yes, absolutely. Mama Blu-ray is here. She says hi, all.
Hello.
Now, Mama Blu-ray she's not a BlueTuber herself. However, her
Okay.
daughter is Movies and Sue, and I
Okay.
know that Sue just wrapped up her own stream, which she started at 8 every Wednesday. So anybody out there, definitely go check out Sue. And I know most of you guys check out Sue, and some of you came over from there. And hey, I missed it tonight, but I also am very happy that Mama Blu-ray still decided to show me some love and show up here tonight. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Thank you for stopping by.
Absolutely. Tony's Movies and More is here. Hey, everyone.
Hello.
And Mirha is here. Says, hey, everyone. Really appreciate her stopping in. And I think, yeah, we're all caught up. Yeah, we're all caught up with the chat. All right.
Okay.
So let's talk good things. We kind
Okay.
of ripped it up a little bit. So for me, a really good part of this movie was the depiction of the relationship between the brother and the sister, our main character and
Yes.
her sister. Just could you speak to that? Also, if you thought that was also a good thing,
Well,
or
yeah, I think. I will see. That's where I kind of wonder about the Holly relationship. If that could have been more time spent building that up a little more,
Hmm.
the relationship between him and his sister, and like as you said, the neighbor or whatever, a friend
Yeah.
that lived nearby or whatever, they could have spent more of that time there. But yeah, I think it because it adds to making sense to why he would be desperate enough to do the things he's doing, to have his little sister that he has to care for. So you understand, and you're not necessarily looking at him like he's some bad guy for doing the things he's doing. You know
Right.
that because you know in your heart, if it was the same situation for you, you'd probably be out there doing the same kind of stuff.
Yeah, you doing whatever you can to make sure to you're providing for her, and if that's what the means you have are, then those are the means you have. So
Yes.
I yeah, like I said, I thought that was really, really well handled. I also thought that just the story played out. Excuse me, the story played out a little bit slow. It is a slow burn of a movie,
Yes.
but I didn't mind it. Um, I, I I like that we got to know him through this time and spending time with him because he's a likable character, regardless of what situation he's in. I
Yeah.
always found him to be a likable character, so I didn't mind that it was a slow burn of a movie. Um, and I know you've already spoken to him in particular, um, or I don't know if you had anything else to add about him or not.
Um, no, not that I can think of. But like I said, I think he did it. He did a pretty good performance. It wasn't one that I would, necessarily stop everything and say, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, you got to see this guy." But it
Right.
was, but it was enough. It served the film he was in. It was good enough.
Right, it was definitely good enough. Mira says, "What movie are we talking about today?" Earlier, we talked about the good, the bad, and the weird South Korean western, and you could call it a western spoof or parody, also comedy, but action packed, not just a western. And I know it kind of sounds odd to people when you say South Korean western, but it is what it is. And then the movie we're talking about right now is called Slight, and that is a more or less it's a superhero origin film, more or less. Um, so far, if you've been listening, or depending on how long you've been here, you'll hear that it's a bit of a slow burn. Um, we really likable lead character, great relationship between a brother and a sister, and get some fun stuff finally towards the end. And that is the next thing I really want to talk about is that final battle scene that we get,
Yeah.
and it's a lot happens there.
Yeah.
A lot
Yeah.
happens. How do you like that scene?
Well, again, it is a slow burn, and then you get to this point where it kind of flips, and then all of a sudden you feel like you're going a bazillion miles an hour, and
Right.
it's like, oh, okay. And so, yeah, there's a whole lot that happens right at the end of the movie. I'm trying to figure out how to talk about it without saying too much, but yeah, there's a pretty, nice payoff of a, action scene there at the end, a fight that, again, I think it did what it was supposed to do for the budget of that movie. It couldn't be, it's not going to be an Avengers fight.
No.
Even though this is a kind of a superhero origin, it's not going to be a big, huge fight here with a whole bunch of choreo and stuff like that, and
Right.
CGI
Right.
or any of that.
Right.
So it served its purpose. It worked for me. I was fine with it. I think part of it was just because it was such a slow burn when we got there. I was like, okay, 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 yay.
Got a little
so
whiplash.
so yeah, so I was fine with it. It worked for me.
Okay. Um, so you mentioned budget, and we've talked about the budget a little bit. The end of the movie, I will say this is a teaser, is a
Yeah,
teaser for a sequel.
yeah.
If we get a bigger budget, does it deserve a sequel?
I feel like it does. I actually do. I really do. I think was it the director J.D. Dillard? I was like,
Yeah.
I'm willing to go and check out some of his other stuff because I wasn't familiar with him. And so I was like, yeah, this that was enough for me to go, okay, I'll look out for him.
Okay.
And so Yeah, and he definitely deserves a bigger budget because I think they said this was 250,000.
Yeah, it was made on the
I
cheap for
mean,
sure.
so yeah, so for that kind of budget, he did a great job as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, yeah. And Mira says, "Oh, LOL, never heard of either of them. Although I love South Korean cinema. So
Check
do
them
I.
both out.
Yeah, check
Yeah,
them both
they're
out."
both worth a watch.
And I'm gonna just you've already given mostly your thoughts, but
Yeah,
I would say just overall, how much did you like it or did you dislike it, and just anything else that I didn't touch on that you wanted to mention.
I will mention one thing. When it started, the first thing I see is a WWE Studios production logo, followed
Yeah.
by a Blumhouse production logo. And I was like, what am I about to watch?
Uh-oh.
What is this? I was waiting for John Cena or somebody to pop up. And I don't know, are there any wrestlers in it? I was waiting for a wrestler to pop
Not
up.
that I know of.
Yeah, I was waiting for one to pop up, and I was kind of like, okay. When I saw that WWE, yeah, I was a little thrown there for a minute. But yeah, overall, I again, I think this is a very good movie considering the constraints it had to work within. It's because sometimes movies with that kind of budget don't look great at all, and this looks pretty. It looks pretty good, and I think the kind of storytelling works for what it is. Then it's a 90-minute watch. So it's a very easy watch as far as I'm concerned, because that's the sweet spot for me. 90 minutes,
Yes.
115, somewhere in there for me is good because I've seen way too many 2 hour plus movies.
We've all
They
seen
don't need to
too
be
many
that
lately.
long. Yeah,
Yeah,
they don't
lately,
need
yeah.
to be that long. A lot of them. So to me, this is it's a very easy watch that I think everybody should check out, especially if you like superhero films. I would go ahead and check this one out. It did make me want to the director's other work.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. And yeah, with the you mentioned that's one thing I caught on this second watch also was that Blumhouse had something to do with it.
Yeah.
And that's when I get nervous,
Yeah.
is when I see Blumhouse. Oh no, here we go again. Um, so yeah, I was at, being that I've already seen this movie, it wasn't quite like that. It was like, okay, I just didn't know that they had something to do with this movie.
Yeah.
But normally it's like, oh man, Blumhouse, what am I about to get into? So I fully understand, I fully understand that sentiment because yeah, they've been, especially lately, it's been a lot of misses as far as I'm concerned.
Well, see, I was more concerned when I had to do the double take on the WWE studios. I was like, what? Wait, what?
Right, right, and yeah, and I understand that. And again, I don't remember if I even noticed that the first time I watched it, but this time it was one of those things. Oh, WWE, and then then Blumhouse, because with WWE, I kind of usually know is what you're getting with Blumhouse. It could be really good, but it's probably going to be really crappy. So
Some people love them some Blumhouse. I'm not gonna
I
say
know,
speak too bad on.
I
I don't.
know, and not to say that everything they put out is bad. It's just
Yeah, I know some of it is kind of like okay, I guess so. But
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah, some of it can be a little mixed bag.
Yeah, it's definitely a mixed
But
bag.
I interested stuff. I'm interested in checking it out though.
Yeah, yeah. All right, let me see if there are any more comments out here. We just got the one. Mira says, thanks. I'll add them to my ever-growing list. You, me, and everybody else has an
Yeah,
ever-growing list, I'm sure. It's just, yeah, I mean, you just can't watch them all, unfortunately.
exactly.
All right. Well, I had a lot of fun doing this. I hope you had a good time as
Yeah, I
well.
did too. I did too.
Uh, Open to coming back?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Um, One of the traditions here, of course, is at the end, I turn the floor over to my guests and let my guests tell everybody whatever it is they want to know about you or your Instagram or, yeah, just anything else. So I'm going to give you the floor and let you go big time, full screen. Are you ready?
All right.
All right, here we go.
All right. Here we go. Okay. Okay, you can follow me on Instagram at byjessjohnson, byjessjohnson. Follow for movie reviews. I didn't start out trying to do movie reviews, but I got a lot of people asking my opinion. So you'll get some reviews in there. I share also my movie collection. Uh, I do follow or write about TV and film. So if you've got any, interest in television, also you can come and check that out. Uh, let's see what else. I put out a streaming guide every month, so you can find out what new movies and television shows are going to be streaming that month. And let's see, yeah, come on by and check me out on IG and give a follow. And I hope to see some of you there, and I'll follow you back. Take care.
All right, absolutely. Yeah, definitely go ahead and give her a follow and check out her stuff. She's got lots of good opinions and got lots of good info on Instagram. And I appreciate you coming on. And I look forward to having you on for something else at some point.
Yeah.
Now, for me, for this channel, I will say that guys, I saw Across the Spider-Verse last week, and I got a little too ambitious in my head, so I've been editing this review video for about 3 days now. So I'm gonna try to get it out there pretty soon. I got that. I got a recommendation video coming out at some point also, and of course next week we're gonna be back on Movie Swap Tuesday, and I'm gonna have AJ Reacts is gonna be on here for next week. So hopefully you guys can all come back, hang out, and listen to me and AJ talk about movies and give your opinions on what we're saying. Until that, guys, that is all I have for you on this one. And just I saw a couple of comments pop up. Mira says, I will give you a follow. Thanks and have a great day.
Thank you so much.
KB says, great guest. And
Thank
now
you.
with KB, I'm going to reveal some ulterior motives. And I think he's going to laugh when I say this. But now he may be DMing you and asking if you would do the conversation. I don't know if you're familiar with the conversation.
Not.
He has a weekly series kind of like this one, but he'll have a guest on and he'll just talk movies with them, and he has what's called the 5 takes, and he'll ask questions about basically your movie taste and just
Okay.
vibe with that. And I would say he'd be a fool not to be asking. So look out for that. CKB Unplugged.
Okay.
We go.
We'll do.
All right. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys. I will catch you on the next one.